You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host, Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts, Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
You are listening to The Money Hour at 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, July 3rd show. You can also listen to our podcast, our Facebook premiere show, or on our show YouTube channel. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
We are here to help you build a strong financial blueprint, 1 week and one show at a time. If you are hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. We are here to answer any questions or connect you with the guests that we have on the show today. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, Tiffany Gough of Edward Jones. Declare your financial freedom right here on 1150 AM KKNW.
Well, Tiffany, you've been on our show quite a few times, and it's always amazing to have you. And for those that don't know, give our listeners an update about yourself. Tell us just a little, and we can't cover this in one show even, but just give them a little tidbit.
Sure. So I pretty much grew up here. My dad was in the military. He always likes to joke I was planted in Seattle, but then he got shipped out. So the first beginning of my life was down in New Mexico, of all things. But 48 years, I've been back here in Seattle since then. Grew up here, went to school here, and have a family here. And, I love to, antiquing, jewelry making. I'm just a little bit of everything. So I love to get out. And of course, my favorite thing is what we haven't been able to do much is go to the beach. So that's me.
And Tiffany, I know you really well from coming into the show and really representing the financial arena space. And you have so much passion for life and passion for really helping and supporting your clients in their financial journey. And I also know that you have put a lot of thought into your brand, what it represents, and your unique proposition. And I would love for you to share that with our listeners today.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So, when I first started with Jones, which was back in 2014, I didn't really think I could have my own brand with the firm, but I realized I could. So my brand is joy. It's always going to be Jesus first, others second, myself last. That keeps integrity and joy in my heart. There's never a question of why I do anything. And my unique proposition is every single person goes through my diamond process that you can only find in my office. It's not a Jones thing. It's only a Tiffany Gough thing. And, and that really gets everybody. I ask them about everything under the sun. It's a very in-depth thing and people love it. So, and again, there's never a question of who I am and why I do what I do. I explain everything, what their costs are going to be, and honest to a mistake. Sometimes one client got mad at me because I was off by a whole $1 in his favor, and then he said, "I'm just teasing you." So
yeah, and I know that you give your clients not a real diamond because it's a big diamond, but you give them a diamond and they actually bring it into the office when they come back and visit you, a lot of them. So definitely your brand and your message connects with your clients, and that's how you connect with people so that you can best support them with what you have to offer.
Yes, thank you.
I love, we talk to marketing people how defined everything is. Your vision is very specific, and that's what they say, and it's laser focused and it doesn't change, and that's how you get people. So if anybody's listening on how they should promote their business, take some notes here from Tiffany. She's not even talking about it. She just does it, and it's subtly just happening. You alluded to on your bio, you're in 18 states. So do you work with just local clients, or it sounds like you work with people out of state as well?
Yeah, I am all over the United States. I have a huge presence in the East Coast, actually. So a lot of times I have clients here in Seattle, they want to do evening appointments, but they don't always understand that I've been up, working with my clients on the East Coast at 8:30 their time, which is 5:30 our time. So a 7 o'clock at night sometimes can be hard. But yeah, no, we've done digital and remote for years. And some of it has been people have moved away or they have family members, and that's just kind of how it's happened. And yeah, I love working with people all over. So, and it's a lot of fun.
So 4th of July is just around the corner, and it's going to be a special one, I think, coming out of last 4th of July when we were in the middle of COVID. So what does Independence Day mean to you, Tiffany?
So, when I picked this topic, I kind of said, I really need to explain this to you and everybody in our audience. Independence Day means a lot to me. My family fought in the American Revolution War. And so I could actually be a member of the Daughters of American Revolution, which I haven't. We've fought in every war since then, or conflict. It's not a proud thing, but, at the same time, they've done this for our freedoms. And I thank every single one of them for that. And I really believe we all came from another country to here. And instead of showing our differences, we need to unite, and we need to be thankful for the freedoms that we have that a lot of other countries don't have. So it's important to me because I always think about where we came from. And we have to remember we are all humans, and we should care for each other the same way.
Wow, what an incredible, contribution to our country your family has had. I don't know if I've ever met anybody who's had somebody in their family that has served in literally everything across the way, where we're celebrating our freedom. And it's so important nowadays that we don't forget what that means, and especially to individuals like your family who sacrificed a lot to get here. Now, financial freedom, how does Independence Day relate to the financial aspect of that?
Well, think about this. Money can be a tool, or the fear of not having enough money can bring fear. So do you want to be independent, or do you want to fear it? And so that's really important to me when I tell people that money should be the tool. You shouldn't be afraid of it. The best thing that you should have is when you are doing your finances, the number one bill at the top of the page should be you. It shouldn't be your mortgage. I know we're talking houses and stuff like that, but honestly, you should be number one. And when you do that, that really puts everything in place. So that having your financial freedom and your independence from the fear is huge.
So Tiffany, how do you help position your clients for their own personal financial freedom?
So, it's funny because a lot of people are desperately working to retire, but they don't really know what their retire is. And, here's the thing. We work probably 40 years working, right? Or maybe more. But there's a good chance that we could be retired for 30 years. And if you don't plan for it well, then that's going to be a problem. So I'm always telling people, let's make sure we take care of you first. Let's make sure we sock things away. And I'm also asking them to really ask what they want for their retirement, whether it's here in this country or another country. I can help figure it out for what you need for those numbers, but I just need to know what those things are. So it's really doing asking more specific questions and making sure I can reverse engineer whatever they want.
So Tiffany, life often happens just in general. We can't avoid it. Things come up, and, we can't avoid how we react to them, which we could go on another show about that as well. But how do you help people stay on track when these life events happen?
I talk to people a lot about, hey, it's mindset. I know it's money, but it's also mindset. I had one client who was really pissed because something happened and she actually had to go into debt for something. And I'm like, hey, think about this. The things that you had to do, you've got your emergency cash stash, and you also have a credit card. You got to think about, hey, you had to fix your car. That was money to fix your car. But that's important because you really need to have your car for your job. And then there was some other stuff that came up. They were all positive things. I said, those are really, truly good debt for your life. Because if you don't have those things, you probably can't operate a life. So it's really to helping them realize, yeah, that's a sidetrack, but with GPS, we're just going to recalculate it again, recalculating your route. So there you go.
And, that's so great, Tiffany, because I think every expert, especially somebody that is working with somebody's money, is you are really a counselor, at the same time, a coach, and really you having the best mindset yourself allows you the opportunity, again, being your best for yourself so you can be best for others. It allows you the opportunity to really chime in and give them that advice that they need, which can make all of the difference, not only in their finances, but then ultimately their life for them and for their family. So, Tiffany, so many people do not have their assets protected. How are you helping your clients protect their assets?
I talk to people about a lot of stuff because a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm just going to work until the day I die." But I said, "Well, what if life happens and your body says you can't work anymore? You have a stroke or whatever." All those things can happen. So I talk to people about making sure they have life insurance, and especially right now, talking about long-term care, because there's a new law that passed and that we're going through. And if you don't know, give me a call. There are some ins and outs that I can help you with. So that's what I do.
Tiffany, oftentimes people confuse, we'll just say a confused mind doesn't act. We'll say that. And there's a lot to do with finances, and your brain could go bonkers. And the next thing you know, you just sit here for years and years for some people. And there is a point where it's too late. And the earlier you start, the easier it is. So how do you help people prioritize their financial goals and to try to get that financial freedom sooner than later?
I tell people, you may not be at the point that you wanted to, but guess what? You're not at the finish line. Let's really look at all the things that we can do with the time we have left. Let's strategize and maximize as much as we can. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes I have to tell people, well, you can't do this now, or you can retire, but only partially. So it's really trying to get them to realize it's not all lost, right? And that's important. So I really just want people to realize you are not at the end. You are still living.
Another great saying, you are not at the finish line. So get with it. We've got time here to adjust and make changes. So Tiffany, as we're wrapping up, can you give our listeners your website?
Sure. It's, was it Tiffany Gough at Edward Jones or something like that? I don't know.
What's your phone number, Tiffany? That is
363-2518. And my email is tiffany.gough, which is Gough, at edwardjones.com.
You can also reach out to Tiffany calling into the show 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. Tiffany, it's always a pleasure to have you here, sharing your expertise with our listeners, and we both really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me back. It's always great.